What it do, Pantene Pro V? It's me, Keisha, aka Color Me Pynk, and I'm here with this week's All Tea All Shade Loving Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 11 review. Baby, let's get into this fool wang of an episode. So we pick up exactly where we left off last week with the comeback group trying to come back together for the Black Expo, BLAQUE Expo. Maurice says, y'all just recycling our ideas. It's our ideas. Marsau was like, the reason we put it under the Black Expo is because whenever we do something underneath the comeback group, everything seems dysfunctional. And Kimmy was like, you were the biggest dysfunction. And Marsau was like, I want all of us there. Mel was like, well, do we have a date? Or do you all have a date? And she was like, yeah, March 8th. And Mel shakes her head. And they was like, what, you gonna be busy? She was like, I believe I'm doing some openings for Eric Billinger around that time, which is a really great look for her. So Maurice suggests that she do like a pre-taped like master class or whatever. And Tisha immediately shuts that down and was like, we're not doing that. And Mel was like, it's seeming like you're being closed-minded at this point. Like you already come in saying what you ain't gonna do. You're not willing to work with others and compromise. So everybody at the table is arguing. Tisha seemed like she's annoyed. Maurice makes it clear that this is why we can't come back because of this. And Maurice says that he won't do it unless it's all 6 of them. Mel isn't so sure if she will speak, even if she is going to be in town that weekend, because she needs baby steps. And Marsau was like, well, this is baby steps, Mel. And she was like, this is baby steps, but not baby steps enough for me to say yes. And even though they did all come up with this truce or whatever, I still get where she was coming from. Like just a few months ago, it was all bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not gonna forgive or forget. And then who wants to be around Martell? I wouldn't. I would probably have broken out in hives just sitting there across the table from them. So Mel and Miss Nell go to a pole class, and I noticed when they did her name tag on the episode in the lower third that they spelled her name differently. At first they were spelling her name like Nell, Nail, and then in tonight's episode they spelled it Nell. So how do you spell this lady name? Do she not know how to spell her name? What is going on here? But anywho, they go to a little pole class today, and you could tell Mel feels really comfortable and secure around Miss Nell. You know what I'm saying? She's a woman that's older than her, has, some wisdom, even though she been a little messy this season as well. So Nell asks about her new boo thing. And Mel was like, everything I had on my list, he meets it and more. And she says that, it kind of scares her sometimes, like, because it's so real and good in how she cries because she didn't think that she would ever be there in that space. And I'm happy for her. If she happy, I'm happy. And like she said, y'all probably won't see him until I'm married, child. And I don't blame her. So she then brings up the Black Expo and says that she's willing to give her input, but she can't forget that there is bad blood with not only her and the Scotts, but Martell. And like she reminded us just a few months ago, Tisha was saying that she was the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we can get along for the show, but I don't want to be around y'all if I ain't got to be. And I don't blame her. Really, honestly, and truly, I would not want to be around them unless I absolutely 100% had to. And then another reason why it's too much is because let's remember, they wouldn't even be filming with each other like this if it wasn't for Carlos making them. This truce wasn't anything that was genuinely done on their own. It's because Carlos literally went down there and told them, y'all gonna have to get it together and figure out a way to film with each other, which to me was inorganic. You know what I'm saying? It took it away from the realness of the show because it's obvious Mel don't want to be around them. Tisha, I feel like is trying, although she still really don't like Mel. She just want to know Mel business. But they don't want to be around each other for real like that, and I don't blame them. So Tisha and Marsau go look at a temporary house. Child, this whole situation that they're in is ridiculous. So they still have the land that they have yet to do anything with for Scott Manor. So according to Marsau, it's going to be another like 2 to 3 years that house will be done. So in that time, they have been staying in, you know, a little house. I guess they didn't bought the house because it's going to take forever for the other house to get done, but that house is too small for them. So they're renovating that house. And in the meantime, they have been staying in an apartment, but that's way too small. So now they're looking at another house that they can stay in for at least 6 months while they get the second house renovated. It's a mess, and just too much money being wasted and spent every which way, but in the right way. Like, they just need to sell that land to somebody else that really has the time and the equity and the resources to be able to do something with that land, get the money off of it. Y'all can, you know, hike up the price a little bit, get the money off that, and go ahead and get y'all dream house that's already done, because this is ridiculous. Like, they've been talking about Scott Manor now for the last like 2-3 seasons. And so by the time it get done, it's going to be like 5 seasons, 5-6 years later. Ain't nobody got time to be spending all this money every which way, getting this house together, living in an apartment here, living in a cottage there, living in a shed here. Like, girl, no, that's ridiculous. No. And if I was Tisha, and I would be like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to have my babies going from house to house. No, that's stupid. So Marsau suggests that MJ, their son, stay at the house with him because he's trying to finish the renovations on the house that they were staying in before they moved into the apartment. And Tisha is like, no, not happening. You're both going to be here with us. And he trying to make the argument that I'm trying to get this stuff done and I need to be there, you know, around the clock to do so. And MJ could be helping me. But she was like, my husband and my son are going to be staying in no bachelor pad. And he was like, it's not a bachelor pad if it's me and my son. Like, come on. But she's like, no, not at all. No, you can work all you want to, but you going to come home and go to sleep here. And I don't blame her, because who you think you fooling? Absolutely not. I don't think so. If you going to be there, we all going to be there, sir. Absolutely not. So Marsau says, well, I'm willing to see if I negotiate with some other people to get this done, but that labor fee is going to come from both of our allowances. So he's basically saying his compromise is he'll hire somebody else to do it, but she and him are going to have to pay for it since you want me to stay here with y'all. And she going to tell him some, okay, that ain't no compromise. Excuse you? I ain't paying for nothing. You can still go do what you said you was going to do, but you going to come home and go to bed. And I'm looking at Tisha like, that ain't no compromise. What? I ain't paying for jack-ish, and neither are you. Boy, if you don't get out of my face, oh my God. So Courtney ends up talking to Marsau about firing Stormi's cousin because, you know, he said he looked at him like a little brother. They used to talk every day. Now they barely talk to each other. And Marsau just brings up how back in the day he had to fire Maurice at one point. And, you know, working with family can be really hard and tough sometimes. Tisha meets up with Mel to have lunch so they can discuss what's the issue, because she feels like Mel just don't want to participate, which she don't. So Tisha asks, how is it not having the kids around? And Mel gives her a little generic answer saying, you know, in the beginning it was tough, but, you know, we've been doing this now for 3 years. So, you know, I'm working it out. Once again, Tisha's just trying to get into that girl business, and Mel wasn't falling for it. And like she said, I'm not going to be pretty much divulging my business to this woman. And I don't blame you, because I know for real, you don't like me. So Tisha says, you know, I feel like in the meeting, you weren't really there. I'm used to you being like a leader. And Mel was like, well, in the past, we hadn't gone through as much as we have today. So I'm not going to show up as the Mel that I used to be. And she was like, it was just months ago when none of us were on the same page. It's irrational to think that we're all going to be like just okay. Even being around Martell, I ain't even trying to do that for real either. And that's real true tea. Like, we're not going to act like the last 4 or 5 seasons have not transpired. You know what I'm saying? Like, we done gone through some things, honey. So, no, I'm not going to step up to the plate and really give all my hard time and energy to help y'all with something when we don't F with each other like that for real. No, absolutely not. So Tisha says that she understands, but says that she still wants her to be involved, but won't push. But then in her confessional, she says the points she's making are valid. However, it's not about us. It's about the community. Community schmutiny. Like, I'm not geared to sit up here and kiki and be fake with people that I know I don't rock with for real. You just got done calling me the devil and every name under the sun and vice versa. We have literally been going at it, taking low blows with each other for the last 5 years. And yes, this is a great thing to do for the community, but Mel has been doing things for the community, so she good on that end. But to work with y'all and all y'all acting like it's a kumbaya, that's just unrealistic and it's fake. So Tisha wants her to come look at the event space and tell everyone that she's not going to be a part of it. And Mel ignored her. Like, cause how many times I got to tell you I don't want to be involved in this for real, for real. So what's the point of me coming to any event space to do what? You just trying to still get me to participate because Tisha knows that Mel is the only one with a brain and they got really good ideas because her and Marsau just as dumb, just as dumb. Child. So, after that, Mel and her hug each other goodbye. And it was actually nice though to see them be able to have a conversation and it not go left. They stayed on task. Wasn't no shade being thrown. And it seemed like they actually genuinely enjoyed being around each other. You know what I'm saying? And it was nice for that. No, they don't need to go no further. You know what I'm saying? And I think that both parties understood that. So, baby, the best part of the episode happens now. So Stormi and her mama, Miss Bettie, sit down with Miss Bettie's sister, Lisa, and her son, Junior. And before they all sit down together, you see Miss Bettie and Stormi together, and Stormi saging the house or whatever because she already know it's about to go left. And Miss Bettie says, I told you not to hire him in the first place, talking about her nephew Junior. So they go into the living room with Aunt Lisa and Junior, and they all sit down. And Miss Bettie attitude is just stanker, danker, rank. Ew. I do not like this old lady. She is literally the pits. So we find out that Bettie told her sister Lisa about Junior being fired, and they already got bad blood with each other. So that whole thing was just going to be a mess from the start. So Aunt Lisa was like, I don't understand why you didn't tell me, talking about to Stormi. And Stormi was like, I assumed Junior was going to tell you, so you found out from mama? And she was like, yeah, she kept saying something about, no, Miss Bettie says, yeah, she kept saying something about the warehouse. And I said, you know, Junior fired. Lisa says, I didn't appreciate her telling me like that off guard. I had no idea. She took it upon herself to say, you know, Junior don't work at the warehouse no more. He said something about Stormi and I was about to whoop his butt. Well, the whole thing was stupid. Okay, she told you that your son had been fired or whatever. Now, the way Miss Lisa phrased it in the beginning, I was like, okay, well, she told you your son had been fired. I don't see what's the big deal. You talking about she caught you off guard. But the more we get to see of Miss Bettie, I think that the conversation went like, you know, your son got fired, like rubbing it in type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to embarrass her type of time. And I think that's where Miss Lisa was coming from. So Bettie was like, that is not what was said. I feel like all the stuff Stormi has done for you not to be there and have her back, then to tell her when all the stuff was messing up in there, you just an employee. She your cousin too. And Junior was like, well, there's only but so much I can see. Now, before we even continue on, what Miss Betty is saying is true. Like, this is your cousin. Y'all, like, more than cousins. Y'all, was raised like brother and sister. She done helped you out throughout the years, gave you a job. You should have stuck by your cousin's side and really tried to be there and help. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, like Junior said, when they had their staff meeting, he got a whole department that he running by himself. There's only but so much one person can do. She need to hire more people, but she refused to do so. So it's like, what y'all want him to do? So Aunt Lisa was like, may I speak? And Stormi was like, yeah. She said, whose business is this? Is it yours or Betty's? And Stormi was like, she ain't know what to say, child. She was so thrown off. So Aunt Lisa was like, why every time you get mad with my child, you always talking about you need to whoop his butt or I'm gonna cuss him out. First of all, he's a grown man. You ain't about to whoop nobody's nothing, Miss Betty. Just because you look like Professor Clump and his wife don't mean that you are gonna do something to this grown man like he won't box you up in the face. Lady, sit down. Oh my God. So Betty was like, when I said that, I was pissed at how he treated my daughter. Stormi took the time out to pay $15,000 for your son to get out of jail. Baby, Aunt Lisa said, cut. Junior said, Junior went to jail. Who gives a F? I don't know why, but this whole scene right here reminded me of the movie Kingdom Come for some reason. Baby, so Aunt Lisa was like, take this mic off me right now. Stormi trying to get her auntie to calm down, but she pissed off. So she was like, she had no right to talk about my child and what he did. Everybody's not perfect. If she gonna say that, you went to jail one time too. No, she's like, is she gonna say that you went to jail one time? No. Did I ever say that? No. And I'm like, well, yeah, you did. You just did. But I don't blame her. Why you trying to put my son on Front Street? Let's talk about your daughter and how she been to jail too. Like, let's not do that, ma'am. And I think the reason why Aunt Lisa got upset is because she told them that, basically, I think she felt like before they went live on camera, she told them she didn't want nothing like that to be brought up. And as soon as she could, Miss Betty did that to her. And that was so jacked up for her to not only do that to her sister, but to her nephew. Like, this lady is literally a bitch. I'm sorry. I don't normally go that hard on people's mamas, but she's ugly, first of all. She looks like the devil. She acts like the devil. She looks like she got a demonic spirit in her with the facial expression she be making. I'm like, old lady, you are too ugly in the face for you to be acting like this. You can't be ugly with a nasty disposition at that. It just makes you uglier. And I'm mad at Stormi for putting herself and her mama in a position to be talked about like this, because you should have known better than to bring your nasty, trifling ass, bitter, demonic ass mama on this damn show acting like this. She worse than Miss Wanda. What was the point of firing Wanda for her idiotic behavior if you just gonna bring Lucifer in behind her? We could have kept Wanda, because this right here, I don't need to see it. Don't want to see it. Not my in my TV screen. We only praise Jesus over here. I don't want to watch the devil and his disciples. Absolutely not. That lady is crazy, and nothing about her is enjoyable. It's not fun shade. She's not funny. She's literally evil and ugly to the core, inside and out. There's nothing pleasant about this woman. Everything about her is miserable and disgusting. Okay, I don't even got to go into the rest of my dang on notes, because I just need to talk about her. Because no way are you on this television screen looking like this and got the nerve to be trying to play somebody. You look like you curl your hair with newspaper like the slaves used to do. You and them evil eyebrows. Like, lady, have you looked in the mirror? Like, literally, have you looked at yourself? Like, seriously, obviously she ain't got no mirrors in her house. I wouldn't want to look at that face either. And Stormi, this is your fault, because your mama is online getting ate up, not just by me, but by everybody else. Her behavior was absolutely abysmal. It was deplorable for her to front on her sister like that and her nephew, then had the nerve to say to her nephew that he's a condescending, what'd she say, a condescending little punk? Nah, she called him a condescending little prick. And I'm like, why is you dogging him like that? Like telling him, don't F with me. Then she got up in his face, telling him he gonna have the nerve to buck up at me. That boy didn't buck up at you at all. It got so bad that Aunt Lisa had to go outside because she was done. Like, she was so hurt. She was crying. And she even said to Stormi, like, I trusted you, like, for this not to happen. Like, for her to sit up here in front of my son and try to talk about him and bring up his past. Like, that's not what I'm here for. It was just so messed up. I felt bad for that lady. And I think that the issue is her sister. I think probably Aunt Bettie. Bettie is older than her, I'm assuming. And it seems like she just is a bully. You know, I don't know if it's jealousy there between the two. Stormi said that it all stemmed from when her grandfather got sick, and it was a thing of who was going to step up to the plate and take care of the family, and her mama was the one that took the brunt of it. And I guess she felt some type of way towards her sister for not helping as much. But it got to be more than that. It got to be more than that, because this lady is downright sad, really sad, and quite disturbing looking. Like, really. Bettie looked like something that goes thump in the middle of the night. She looked like the children of the corn. She looked like some shit that hide underneath your steps at night to scare you. Like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And Stormi know that her mama ain't shit. Because when she went outside to her Aunt Lisa, she was like, you need to get back in there, because she in there with Junior. You need to get back in there. Like, she know her mama is trash. Literal trash. And you willingly brought her on this show? This was a horrible idea. A horrible idea. She was a poor representation of not only herself, but y'all family and you. You got a business and a reputation to protect. And your mama, honey, was not a good look at all. With that slave hairdo. She got going. How you got a hair curl line and your mama hair looking like that? Your mama hair literally looking like James Brown after he got done performing. She looked like she literally still put sponge rollers in her hair at night. And she literally looked like the wife from the Clumps. Like, you too ugly for this behavior. How dare you be ugly and nasty at the same time? The two can't mix. This lady that pissed me off. Justice for Aunt Lisa and Junior, because I don't like Miss Bettie. Y'all let me know what y'all think about tonight's episode. Let's talk down below in the comment section. Make sure to thumbs up this video, like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell button. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.